The following is a presentation of the Mat Talk Podcast Network. It's time for Inside Virginia Tech Wrestling. We'll talk all things Hokie wrestling with Coach Tony Roby and staff. Now, let's join your host, Hall of Fame wrestling writer and broadcaster, Jason Bryant.
Virginia Tech's first national champion.
Episode 82 of Inside Virginia Tech Wrestling. Jason Bryant here with you. You've already heard from Coach Jared Frayer about his opinions and feelings about this man's national championship, the first in school history. Now today we get to talk to the champ, Mekhi Lewis. He was a junior world champion this summer. Now Virginia Tech's first ever NCAA Division I Wrestling national champion. Mekhi Lewis, welcome back to the program and congratulations, sir.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So you have done this media whirlwind of interviews, and Coach Frayer even said your phone was kind of wacky anyway, and it just kind of like exploded with all the outpouring of support. What has this week and a half been like for you since you've won the national championship?
This weekend's been pretty crazy. I have like a lot of people come up to me just randomly on campus, congratulating me, want to have conversation with me. And it's pretty cool, like, people, like, knowing my name and, like, knowing who I am. And it's pretty funny because some of the people who come up to me, they don't pronounce my name right. And I just laugh because, like, I tend to correct them sometimes. And I just find it to be pretty funny. And just all, like, the interviews I, like, had to do about just wrestling and nationals, and it's just been pretty hectic, all along with like going to class and being in class and having my professors have to work with me on like my school and like catching up.
Yeah, in terms of the interviews, I told you back in September when you won, I says, don't worry, there's going to be more of these coming. So, how have you braced yourself? I mean, were you prepared for this Russia stuff? I mean, I kind of warned you about it, but what happened? What's it like when it actually happens?
I really wasn't prepared. I get really nervous before interviews, but then, like, as I'm doing it, I, like, tend to be, like, okay and calm. And, like, I learned from, like, interviews before that, like, long as I just say what's on my mind and, like, say what I think, then the interview will go fine. So, I mean, the interviews are pretty interesting when they ask me, like, certain questions about nationals and stuff. I enjoy it now.
What's the strangest interview question you've gotten since you won the title?
It's been a lot, so I think.
I mean, before we even started, I asked you about your favorite food. I mean, we're going to talk about that eventually, but I mean, I always like food questions.
Yeah, I mean, that food question was pretty interesting. Asked me about my favorite food. But other than that, I can't really think of one right now because it's just like on the spot, but I had a few.
So, so it's not been like, hey, what did you think about season 7 of Game of Thrones? Nothing like that.
No, nothing like that. No.
Are you getting amped up for season 8 of Game of Thrones?
Well, I don't really watch that.
I'm just messing with you, man. Don't worry about it. I'm just messing because I'm getting amped up for it. But I didn't start watching it till like last year. So like we binged like 7 seasons of it in like 3 months. So yeah, I would, if you got nothing better to do, that's a good way to waste your time. It's not waste. It's good television. Anyway, enough about Game of Thrones. We're talking about Mekhi Lewis. We're talking about a giant gold medal, a big old trophy, from Jersey. Now, a lot of the questions that you've gotten, or the basically the thought process of your career. One, let's just go back in time. Why did you choose Virginia Tech coming out of high school?
I chose Virginia Tech because I remember I was down to 3 schools. It was Lehigh, Nebraska, and Virginia Tech. And I just remember every time I came to Tech, it was always the same. Like everybody treated me the same. Everybody treated me like I was already a part of the team. And I had like other athletes even treat me the same way and like remember me from my unofficial to my official visit and just talking to me, like catching up with me. So it was just like a family, like like a family like type atmosphere, and like I felt like I was already a part of the family. So it just made my choice easier, like on me once the day came that I had to choose.
Was there a concern about performance because Lehigh's produced national champions, Nebraska's produced national champions, both have produced national champions from your home state. Virginia Tech had never produced a national champion. Was that weighing in your mind as like, okay, can I perform here, or is it something like I'm going to be the first to do it here?
So basically, I had my high school coaches like asked me about that, and I just remember telling them that, well, if they never had one, like I feel like I could be the first one. I just remember always thinking about like becoming the first national champ, and I just remember like my mindset was when I got down here that, or like even before I signed the paper, that this was going to be 4 years for me to try to become the first one. So I never thought that I would have a problem out here, especially because my coaches, like having Coach Roby and Coach Freyer and Frank Molinaro at the time, just like helping me out and like just knowing where they got at in the sport and like how good they were, I knew like they could help me out and get me to where I wanted to be.
Was there any discussion about amongst your teammates on who was going to be the first? Jared Haught was close to doing it last year and made the finals. Devin Carter had made the finals in the past. So, and Zach Zavatsky is a 3 seed. David McFadden's now a 3-time All-American. So there was competition in the room on who was going to be the first. I mean, were you guys talking about that? Were you guys having a game with each other on that? Trying to beat each other? I mean, you're the lightest of those 3. So, you had first crack typically.
Well, it just depends on the draw too. Like if they drew like Dave's or ZZ's weight, and if they made it to the finals, then they could have probably became the first one before me. But I don't really think we really like played around with it. We all knew that we had a chance to compete for a national title. We just was trying to work hard and push each other in the room, basically.
When you look at the coaching situation, of course, you had signed and then there was a coaching change and new assistants come in, and Jared Freyer and you seem to have really been connected, with the Junior World Championship and his freestyle acumen. And what's that relationship been like with you as not just, as an athlete, but as a person with Coach Freyer?
It's been really good. It's really good to have like a coach that you're like really close with and you could like go to talk to about anything. I feel like our relationship really grew from Worlds and like just the whole experience like that we had together, and just having him like being there, just guiding me through the whole process. And now like being back at Tech, and like it was some days where I like needed like somebody I guess to talk to, I could like go to him, and even he like let me sit down with his family on Tuesday night, and they would cook me dinner. I would literally have dinner with his family every Tuesday night at one point in the season. So like our relationship just like grew, and it's really good to know that I have somebody that I could like really connect with, especially because I'm like a long way from home from my family and friends. So it's just it's a very good relationship.
How much has your performance really kind of opened people's eyes to the fact that athletes believe in Jared Frere, athletes believe in Tony Roby, they believe in the coaching staff at Virginia Tech, that now you've shown this can happen not just at a school like Virginia Tech, but at Virginia Tech specifically?
We always knew that we could produce a national champion. It's just that every time we had the opportunity, it just didn't go our way, in a sense. So I knew when I was going out there that I was going to leave it all behind me and just not worry about things. And just every time having the coaches in my ear telling me that all I have to do is wrestle and just have fun with it, like, and just make the most of this opportunity. And just every time, like, they always tell you the right things. That even days where I was down in the wrestling room, I wouldn't have a good day. They always tell me that I could potentially be like the first national champ. They told me that I'm fine and that I'm good enough to wrestle against anybody. Like, they just put me in the right state of mind and the right mindset, and just everything they taught us. Like, they taught us a lot of good technique, and it just like made it easy to like believe in them and trust in them, because just everything they know about in the sport. And now, since I like won nationals, I feel like people can finally see like how like good coaching, especially that the coaching that we have, can help out a lot of good kids that's coming up from high school.
A lot of individual sports thrive on individual confidence, self-confidence, things of that nature. But ever since you were recruited, and Tony Roby has talked about this on this show and to everybody in Hokie Nation about how he believed that you could be a national champion. He said you were going to be a national champion, and it wasn't just lip service. I mean, you fulfilled that prophecy. How much does it help you as an athlete with your own self-confidence to know that your coach is telling you you're going to be a national champion, and it not be lip service? It's an actual belief that they hold.
It helps a lot, because there's some days as an athlete that you go through the mindset of, I don't think I can do this, or I'll probably never be able to do this. And then like just to have that like reset of like people telling you like you can win, or you can be successful and good in the sport, is really just really like relieving. And like my stress just went down every time I would get reminded that I could win nationals. And I just feel like it's like it causes like your stress, like for you to not have stress at all. And basically I feel like it's a good thing to have.
A lot of people might respond that, having that you're saying the stress goes down, where some people might look at the pressure goes up because your coach believes you're supposed to be a national champion. So you harness that a different way?
Yeah, I don't really try to make things too big of a deal. Like, I remember when we got to nationals, they kept telling me, they was like, it's just another match. It's just another wrestling match. Like, don't hype it up and make it bigger than it's supposed to be. And honestly, once I did that for the first match, I could just continue to roll with it and just making every single match just another match that I wrestle. Like, the matches I wrestle at nationals is no different from the matches I wrestled probably my 8th grade year in the summertime. It's just that now everybody's watching me. And I just tried to make it less than what it was, basically. And that helped me out a lot at the end of the day. And now I could say that from that mindset that I could like basically use it for like future tournaments and events that I wrestle in.
One thing about the success of the Hokie wrestling program is the fact that the fan base has become very much engaged. I've mentioned this on the show before, that there used to not be a wrestling-specific message board on Tech Sideline. Now there is. There are bigger attendance numbers. There's big promotions. There's Moss Arts Center. There's events for you to be in front of Hokie Nation. Now, they also had the belief that you could win a national championship. What was the response like? We joked that your phone was kind of buggy and blown up, but just talk about the maybe the social media interaction, the text messages. What came from Hokie Nation that night in Pittsburgh?
So it was a lot. It was a lot of congratulations. It was a lot of people saying that they're so happy for my parents, especially my mom, and it was a lot of positive reactions. I had a bunch of Twitter congratulations from just a lot of people from Virginia Tech, a lot of Virginia Tech fans. And then I had on Instagram a lot of family from back home and fans from Virginia Tech. And I also had a couple of fans who got my phone number. I didn't even know how they got my phone number, and they congratulated me through text messages. And it was all positive.
New phone, who dis?
Yeah, I was just wait, what? How did you get my phone number? But all right, but I was thank you. And then at one point, my phone just turned off. I thought my phone just broke. I was so scared. I was wait, what happened? And then my phone reset itself and turned back on, because there was so many messages at one point. I had to put my phone down and just wait it out.
Oh yeah, it's like that. I don't know if you got notifications. I know people that change their text I'm one of these people that I change my text message to the tweet sound, because I don't know if you're an iPhone or an Android guy, but it's just yeah, you can hear that. I heard my mother-in-law turn on her phone after turning it off, and it was just I can only, that's you for 12 straight hours. Or was it 112 straight hours?
It was pretty long, because even the next day I was I didn't have the chance to text people back yet, and I'm starting to text people back. Then next thing I know, I'm getting more messages and more messages. I think it was for 2 or 3 straight days that my phone was just going off with a bunch of just messages from people all over congratulating me, just wanting to talk to me, and just being happy and positive towards me. And I don't know, it just made me feel good. And especially knowing that our wrestling is getting bigger at Virginia Tech, and the fans, they're so good. And I was just so happy to just see all of them, especially after I wrestled, I got the chance to see a bunch of our fans, and we had a little get together at a hotel, and it was just such a good feeling. I felt amazing.
When you look at the performance, not just of Hokie Nation and their response, but how about the response from New Jersey? I mean, there are 4 national champions from New Jersey. The Rutgers fans were waving the Jersey flag for Cassar when he wins, and it was you had Suriano, Ashnault, you, and Anthony Cassar. This is just it was a pretty good year for New Jersey. What was it like to kind of rep the Garden State like that?
Oh, it was pretty cool. I had a bunch of New Jersey people congratulate me too. And the funny thing is, before the finals, I remember just walking in, and it was probably 60 or 70 Rutgers fans, and they saw me, but I had my headphones in, so I couldn't hear nothing.
Oh, trust me, you can hear Rutgers fans through your headphones.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, I just get a tap, and I see everybody cheering, yeah, go Lewis, go Lewis. And I'm just oh wow. And then I give him a fist bump, and then we get in, and even after my match, I see a whole bunch of people from New Jersey cheering for me, saying Jersey or Jersey strong. I had this one guy the whole tournament, every match I won, he would come up to me and tell me that I was going to win the tournament. And he would shake my hand, and after the finals, I saw him, and he came up to me. He said, "I told you, right?" And I had the chance to, he congratulated me, and I had the chance to shake his hand and stuff. So it was pretty cool.
And well, the funny thing about that story is he was wearing a University of Virginia shirt. No, I'm just kidding. But no, one thing you'd mentioned your parents and your mom specifically, but one thing I noticed at the Division III championships a couple weeks ago down in Roanoke was that the NCAA was starting to move the parents for the championship matches mat side. And I noticed it at D3s, and then I saw it, that thing happen at D1. So right now, I think they come when the weight class is on deck, so they don't have to kind of run out when you're coming through the tunnel. And right there, all the photos, you see them from Justin Hawk, Tony Rotundo, Richard Immel, like you can see your parents in the background, wearing the maroon with the big VT on the chest, like just hands up. You're doing the fist pump. What was it like to have your mom and dad just right there, feet from you, when you get that national championship?
It was so great because I remember wrestling for New Jersey, and we wrestle at our states. We have our parents sit mat side, and I just remember like not knowing where my parents were. So after I got my hand raised and then I'm like getting turned around, I could see somebody who looks exactly like my mom in maroon. I'm like, I think that's my mom. And then like she's just like waving her hands, like telling me just to come towards her. And like as soon as I like realized that was my mom, I just ran, like completely like forgot about everything, just ran like towards my parents and like gave my mom a big hug. And my uncle, and then my aunt and dad, and it was just a great feeling, and I was just so happy for them to just be like have the opportunity to just sit right there for the finals and be able to like experience it like it's like a front row seat for them. So it was pretty cool, especially like seeing my dad jump around. Like I had to watch the videos back. I see my dad like jumping around. I'm like, I didn't know you could jump like that still.
Still, funny. Meaning he used to could at one time.
Yeah.
Let's get to the actual performance of the tournament now, because we've spent a lot of time on what's happened since, but we need to talk about like what the breakdown was when you got there. So upon arriving, you guys get there a couple days early, you sit there, you make your weight. So when you walk through the tunnel for the first time, your first match at the NCAA championships, you draw Cam Coy from UVA. So right up the road, you'd wrestled him before. What were your thoughts drawing the 8th seed and then wrestling an opponent you had seen before? Obviously, there's a level of confidence there. I mean, what were you thinking when you walked out of that tunnel for match number 1?
So the first match, well, my seed first, I saw that I was the 8th seed, and I just remember Fred telling me, he said, look at your seed, look at who you got first, and then don't look at the bracket. And that's exactly what I did. So I didn't know after that who I was going to have next. So basically I was just focused on my first match, who was Kim Coy. And I knew I wrestled him before. I knew like he knew how I wrestled, and I knew if I wrestled my match how I did the last 2 times I wrestled him, then I'll be fine. And I just remember walking through the tunnel, and like this is the only time I really got nervous, but then like the nerves went away. Like after the match started, I was like really nervous walking out because I saw it was like a whole bunch of people. I was like kind of in front of our fans, and I just remember just being a little nervous before the match, and then we ended up shaking hands, and then as the match was like going on, then the nerves just went away, and then I just started to like just wrestle my match and just be a little bit like more confident, like as the match was going on. And then eventually, like when the third period came, I got on top of him and I was like riding him out. I finally like got a turn and got the pin. Once I got the pin, then my confidence just went up because I didn't pin him. I never pinned him before. So after that, then the rest of the tournament, it just made it easier. And plus the first match, I feel like is your hardest match because you're like just getting done with your weight cut and like you're running off of just the food you ate like an hour before. So I felt like as soon as I got my first match done, then I was going to be good for the rest of the tournament.
Demetrius Romero is the 9 seed from Utah Valley. He gets upended by Cale McCormick of Army West Point. You beat him 4-1. And a lot of the talk in the weight class was about Alex Marinelli's road. He was the 1 seed. He was undefeated. He's had some adversity, with his teammate, from high school, Eli Stickley being killed in a car accident. A lot of people were really rooting for Marinelli, even if they weren't Iowa fans. And he has Joe, they're talking about, oh man, he's got Joe Smith. Then he could have the guy that he went into tiebreakers with from Brown. Then he could have Lewis. Then he could have this, and then you step in there, you beat him 3-1. And how does after you beat McCormick, coaching mindset, what is the preparation going into a guy like Alex Marinelli in a folk style match? You'd wrestle him in freestyle, but what was it like with this rule set, knowing that this guy he doesn't quit, man. He is a fighter. He is tenacious.
So I basically knew that was going to be a battle, and I just went in there with like a fighter's mindset. Like, I'm going to go in there and just battle and fight off like every single attack he takes, or every single like move he does, and just try to make it hard for him. And I just remember in the summertime when we wrestled, and I remember watching the match after the match, and even being in the match after the match, we both were like so exhausted. And I just remember, like, I told myself before the match that I'm going to be that exhausted after this match, because I know like he has a good pace, and he could go for a whole 7 minutes. So I basically was like telling myself that, getting myself in the mindset of like, I'm going to have to really wrestle like as hard as I did in the summertime so I could potentially win this match. And when I was in the match, the funny part is I wasn't as tired as I was in the summertime, because I feel like my conditioning was way better. And as I got in on the shot and got his leg up and took him down, I realized that like I actually did it. Like, I beat like a good kid. But it like set in after the match, and when I was back at the hotel room, and like just be happy, and like knowing that my confidence was just going up as the tournament kept going, like each round.
Were you worried at all going in about maybe being battle tested? You had 2 losses coming in. You didn't have to go through the Big Ten grind. I mean, your losses are to Connor Flynn of Missouri and Isaiah White of Nebraska. We'll talk about those in a minute. But did you worry about, have I seen the best competition? Am I physically prepared? Am I mentally prepared to go through these guys that you haven't seen all year, and they've been chewing each other up and spitting them out all year?
Yeah, my mindset was I can wrestle with anybody in the weight class, because I wrestle with my teammates here, like Dave and ZZ, and even like Hunter Boland, and they're like some of the best guys in the nation at their weight class, and they're all heavier than me. So I like always told myself if I could compete with them, then I could definitely compete with the guys in my weight class. And I just always knew, like, I always told myself that I should be confident. Like, why can't I wrestle with these guys? And I just remember wrestling Marinelli in the summertime. I was like, I already beat the guy once, and I feel like I could do it again, because I'm more confident in folk style than freestyle. So why can't I do it? And I just kept saying that, like, why can't I win? And like, it was just starting to like just keep telling myself that, like, I can do this, and just to let myself know that I could compete with the best guys.
You get to the semifinals. You got Evan Wick of Wisconsin, the number 4 seed. He had pinned Chance Marsteller, who had beaten you the year before at the Southern Scuffle. And Wick is obviously very dangerous from the top position. He pins people with cradles. He's got length. He rides well, but he's also got a lot of surface area to shoot on because of his length. What was the strategy going in? Because Coach Frayer said he wasn't really worried about people riding you. But that is it's got to be a concern with a guy like that who's so dangerous on top. So what's the game plan, and how to, 1, neutralize his strengths, and 2, capitalize on where you're good?
My game plan I really kind of just went in that match with the mindset of just going out there and just having fun, because it was like the semifinals, and I already All-American, and I was at the point where I just wanted to wrestle and just wrestle hard. And I just remember knowing that he was good on top and just telling myself, like, if I stand up fast, then he won't be able to hold me down. If I keep coming up, then he won't be able to hold me down, which happened. And then I remember, like, he is long, so I knew, like, it would be a couple of times where he would get on my legs. I just remember just fighting him off, like fighting his shots off every time, and just telling myself that if I could counter him off his shot, then I'll be able to take him down. And I ended up doing that in the first period, and I almost could have did it again, but I ended up getting on my knees in I think it was the second period. But yeah, in that match, it was just getting out from bottom and just being aware of him just staying on his knees as he shot in on me and being ready to reattack him or just go behind him.
All right, let's go. That third period, going in, there's choice. You had gotten out from underneath him when he chose top, and it's now your choice. All right, Freier's like, all right, let's not get cocky. Let's go neutral here.
Oh, well, I was confused because I thought I chose bottom, but then I looked at Freier, and he's like, it's your choice. And then I remember the ref going, green, your choice. And I was like, oh, so I'm going to choose down. And then Freier was like, no, choose neutral. I was like, wait, what? And I was like, why? And he's like, neutral, just choose neutral. And then after the match, I remember him telling me, he's like, why would you go down? You already got out once. You're like, you don't need to go down again. I was just like, yeah, you're right. I was like in the moment too, because I'm like so focused on the match that I didn't realize that I was up 3-1. Like I was just like two in the match. I thought that the score was 2-1, and I forgot that I even got a takedown in the first period. And then until I remember we was wrestling and we got a stalemate, and I looked at the clock. I saw it was 3-1. I was like, oh, okay, like that makes sense.
Trust your coaches. Now,
yeah.
When we get to the finals, you got Vincenzo Joseph, two-time national champion. He is literally coming out to the song that the Pittsburgh Steelers do the terrible towel wave to, Styx's Renegade. He went to high school on the same street as PPG Paints Arena. You can't get more of a hometown story than that. So before we even get to, what's going through your mind in the tunnel, I want to know I can't remember what your walkout song was, but what was it and why did you pick it?
So it was J-Rock, Win. And that was like my walkout song for the whole entire year. And the reason why I picked it was I remember playing Madden. I played it. I think I was playing against Tom Slay, the 97-pounder on our team. And I like just beat him. And then the song came on and it's like, get out the way, get out the way, get out the way. Yeah. And I was just like, hi, I like that. And then it's just, then the part comes up, you either with me or against me. And then he goes, win, 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 win. And I just remember like just hearing that, like win, 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 win before the finals. And I was like, this would be a perfect song to walk out to. And I remember just like I had my mind set on the song anyway. And it's just like a song where like you could get hyped to it, but it's like, you're not getting too hyped to it. It's like I could like how I did, like I could walk out like just like with the confidence that I had, and the song could just be playing in the background. So it was pretty dope. Like I thought the song was a perfect song, especially for the finals.
And, of course, one of the most important decisions that a wrestler and a team has to make before the finals, singlet choice. Who made the choice to wear that particular Hokie singlet, and, what was your preference?
Well, it was me because the coaches didn't care what singlet I was going to wear. And it was like two singlets. Like it was either the one that Jared Hott wore the year before or that black one. And I was like, well, I might as well just wear the new black one, and like show the people our new singlets. So I just went out and wore the black one. And I like the black singlet. It's probably like one of my top two singlets. So I was happy to wear it.
How many singlets do you guys have? Because it used to be like schools had one. Now it's like they've gone Oregon football on it. Everybody's got 10 singlets.
I think we have like, I don't know. We had like 7 at one point, but I think we have 6 or 7, maybe 8. Because we also have these like new blue and red singlets, which I don't know. It doesn't make sense, but we have them. So.
Are those the like the military appreciation day where it's the red, white, and blue? Is that would be my thought?
No, that one is the one I wore in the semifinals. The gray singlet, and then it got the American flag. The blue and red one we wore at when Cornell wrestled us here at Tech.
Maybe they're getting them ready for freestyle season. Blue,
yeah,
right?
I don't know.
All right, so now let's get to the match. Okay, you talked about pressure and you talked about stress, but this is session 6. This is Saturday night at the NCAA championships. This is what people dream about their entire careers. And you're here as a redshirt freshman, your first time to the show, and you are on the big stage against, a juggernaut program of Penn State, a guy that's a hometown guy. I mean, literally he is minutes away from his high school as a Pittsburgh guy. So is there any stress? Is there any pressure before you hit that tunnel?
No. I didn't have any stress at all. I was like, honestly, the stress might be on him because he's the returning champion, and I'm just a redshirt freshman who just everybody didn't even expect to be in the finals. So, I mean, I just went out there and I was just having fun with it. I was like, hey, I might not never get this opportunity back, so I might as well just make the most of it and enjoy it. And just before the match, I just remember, like, it was at one point where I was starting to get a little stressed, and then I just kept reminding myself, I'm like, why am I getting stressed? I'm in the national finals. I should be happy. I should be having fun. And I just kept saying that. And before I walked out, like, that was my mindset, just having fun and just wrestling hard.
So we get to the match, and you are known for being good on your feet and being very tough to take down. It's very stingy, great hips. We'll talk about the hips thing in a minute. But where did you learn that cradle? Who taught you that cradle, and when did you feel it come?
So Frayer been trying to make me cradle a whole bunch of people during the season, and I was just I wouldn't do it because I was like working on my feet and like working on taking people down. So then I remember. The week before nationals, I was like working on this one cradle, and like it's a cradle that I've been hitting since I was like younger. It's not like it's something new. Like I always knew how to hit it. It's that the difference in this one is usually I don't grab the person's arm, but with my backhand I grab his I think it was his right arm, and then with my front hand I went over and I just like tried to crush, like basically have like a football, like have his head like a football in my hand that went over his head. And all I remember was when he tried to like pop out and like get out, that's when I got the lock finally, and I could like readjust my lock to the point where it would be tight enough where he couldn't like break it. And then I just ran it over, and the rest just happened.
So in that position, because I'm not somebody who knows how to pin anybody very well. I mean, I like the cradle, but I got little T-Rex arms, and my wrestling career ended really before it began. So when you're in that position, you've got the cradle. Everybody's like, all right, are you trying to get the fall there? Are you adjusting for it? Or are you like, okay, he's in a position where this is going to be tough for me to do. I want to make sure I keep my points, don't give anything up. I mean, what goes through an athlete's head right there when they go, okay, I got a cradle. I got the national champ on his back. It's the national final. I mean, what is the thought process? What is going through your mind at that moment?
Basically to try and get the fall, but if I can't, then just to sit there. And I knew that I couldn't get the fall because his shoulder was up. And I kind of could, like, feel his shoulder, like, on my body. So I knew, like, if I was going to try to get the fall, I was going to have to, like, come back up and come over top of him. But as I was doing that, I could just feel my lock slip. So as it was slipping, I just let it go and just went out of bounds. And I thought that I should have just stayed there for like at least like 10 more seconds or 15 more seconds. But I mean, I feel like if I did stay there, that my arms would have felt like exhausted because they were getting exhausted just holding it there. Because it's like I have to squeeze tight because if I don't, then he could break the lock then, and then he could get out. So.
How strong is he? I mean, he's got some hips. He's got some pretty good quads going. I mean, he's a ball of muscle.
Yeah, he is. He is really strong, and I realized that he had like strong hips, so I knew that I was gonna have to get him really tired or be able to like turn him on top to have a chance of winning. So my thought process, as soon as I got on top, was I was gonna go for a cradle. And if I didn't get it, then see what else opens up.
Now, when we the moment is over, you know, hokey high, national champion, VPI. That's my call. I'm pretty proud of that. What's going on? I mean, you defend the takedown. You know, the hips, just, you know, holy hips, Batman. Another thing I think I said that was just, I mean, what? That just take us through. You get the takedown. 23 seconds left. There's the fist pump. Your parents are going nuts. How do you sit there and maintain your composure when you know, all right, I am literally 20 seconds away from a national title and I'm on top. There is no way I'm losing this match.
Yeah. It was. I don't know what was like. I was just so excited, and it was one point where I almost like it was one point where I did stop wrestling, and I just remember ref telling us to keep wrestling, and Frayer telling me to stay on him because I almost got up with like 15 seconds left. Like I was like starting to tell myself just to get up. I'm like, wait, no, I gotta like finish the match off. And I'm like, I was just like getting too excited. I was like, just calm down, just wait, and just realizing that all the like hard work that you put in and just all like the hard days and the good days from just wrestling in practice and just competing in the sport and just looking back on everything, it was just crazy to just know that I finally accomplished one of my goals. So it was pretty cool.
At what point this season did you know you were going to be a national champion?
Probably after the Lehigh match or before it, because that's when I started to really get motivated on nationals and wrestling at nationals and just thinking to myself that I could be a national champion. I could maybe become the first national champ for Virginia Tech.
Now we have to go back in time and talk about the two losses this season and what you learned from them. I mean, if people say, yeah, you're going to lose to Connor Flynn and win a national title in the same season, that doesn't seem to really jive. What was the issue with the Connor Flynn match? And two, what did you learn from that particular match?
I learned that I shouldn't go in stressed out and worried about anything. I think after I won Junior Worlds, I felt like it was everybody had this expectation for me that I need to win or I should win, which wasn't the case. I know everybody wanted me to do good. It's just that I was putting more pressure on myself than I needed to. And I just went out there thinking that he was just going to lay over for me, and he didn't. And he wrestled a real good match. And after I lost, I just realized that I just need to completely change my mindset, because if I go into every match like this, then there's no way then that I could win a national title at the end of the year. And it just helped me learn how to just stop putting so much pressure on myself and just being more relaxed.
And now, Isaiah White, what did you learn there? Because that was one where, there was probably the least amount of success you had in the bottom position. Was that a learning experience from you and saying, okay, this is a part of my game I need to improve?
Yeah, that I feel like helped me out for nationals the most, because after getting written out, like, you never want to get written out in the match. So I just remember telling myself that I don't want that to happen again this year, and I want to be able to get out no matter who I wrestle. And I just remember every single day after practice just going over stuff on bottom and getting out from bottom. And it like really helped with my wrestling and just like picking out small areas that I need to work on and get better at and be a more successful wrestler.
Now that you've got the title, you've got, the first of, All-American placements. Nothing's guaranteed from here on out, but you've gotten the hardest part of college wrestling done and winning a national title. And you've got your teammates still coming back. David McFadden, he's working to be a four-time All-American next season. He would be the first in program history. How much do you and Dave kind of key off each other? Because you guys are close to the same weight, and he was a 65 and moving up to 74. I mean, what's that relationship like?
It's real good. It's like good to have because we're so close to weight that we could push each other. And in the practice room, especially like wrestling wise and just training wise, like sprinting or like lifting, but also off the mat, just being like a good teammate and a good friend, like always being able to like hang out with him, joke around with him, and just feeling like it's like a home atmosphere, like how my friends treat me back home is like basically how I am with my teammates, and like just having like that relationship is like really, really good, especially like being far away from New Jersey. And he like knows because he's also from New Jersey too.
Now the most important question of the post-finals. You go through the press conferences. What is your first meal? What's the first thing you want to eat after getting through all of that fun stuff at the NCAA championships?
Probably Popeyes. And
absolutely the best answer that ever could have been said in the history of college wrestling. You win. You win the internet. Freaking love me some Popeyes.
And it's funny because I haven't had the chance to eat it yet because it's not a Popeyes in Blacksburg, but it's one in Roanoke. But I have to wait until this weekend to go there. And I like my first option is either Popeyes or like McDonald's because I haven't had those in a long time.
you need your sloppy fast food vice. But what did you eat? What was your first meal?
Probably was pizza. It was a pizza. I forget the name of the place, but it was pretty good. It was one of the pizza places, I think, close by our hotel, but not my hotel. Like the hotel we had like the get together at.
Gotcha. So, in the meantime, you have to wait for your Popeye. Man, I know I was happy when they put them here in Minnesota because it's not something that, they put Chick-fil-A here finally. They put Popeyes here. I don't eat that much. Okay, Chick-fil-A, I still kind of, eat. I haven't had Popeyes in a while, but yeah, I love me some Popeyes. So anyway, as we wrap up here on episode 82 of Inside Virginia Tech Wrestling, I'll give you the opportunity. What do you want to say to Hokie Nation? What do you want to say to the friends and coaches and everybody that came through your time in New Jersey and watched you go to the next level? And like, this is now your time to give thanks to everybody out there that helped you get to this moment.
I just like to thank all the fans from Hokie Nation who accepted me into the program and just always cheering for me. And I like to thank the coaches for just giving me this opportunity to even be in college and to do something I love and wrestle in college. I like to thank all my friends for their support and always telling me that I could do well, especially my one friend from back home, Robbie. He goes to Rider now. I like to thank him. I like to thank my parents, always telling me I could do good in college and just always keeping my confidence up. I like to thank my high school coaches, Marty Gleason, Bob Dorr, Sean Clary, Coach Showman, Coach Lay, Coach Manning, for always telling me that I could do really well in college and I could go a long way in wrestling, and just always taking care of me back in high school and making sure I was good. And I just like to thank just everybody for all the support that they give me, no matter what. And I'm just grateful for just having so many good people in my life right now.
And last thing, what is the next thing on Mekhi Lewis's schedule? We talking wrestling? We talking time off? What does your summer look like?
Well, my summer is going to be pretty busy, but I think the next thing might be the Senior World Trials for me, and that's in May. So, yeah, that's probably the next competition for me. Other than that, I'm just relaxing, just training.
Relaxing, training, craving some Popeyes. That's national champion, the first in school history for your Virginia Tech Hokies. Mekhi Lewis, this has been episode 82 of Inside Virginia Tech Wrestling. Mekhi, thanks for the time and congratulations again, man.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Hokie fans, listen to Inside Virginia Tech Wrestling anywhere you go by subscribing on Apple Podcasts. Go to InsideVirginiaTechWrestling.com/iTunes, or you can get the exclusive Android or iOS apps by going to InsideVirginiaTechWrestling.com.
This show is part of the Matt Talk Podcast Network. For more wrestling podcasts, head over to MattTalkOnline.com.